going on, everyone? In this video I'm going to be installing this RS wing on my Focus ST. On pretty much every ST you see, it has wing risers, and I don't really like the look of wing risers, mainly because they leave that gap in between the wing and the body of the car, and I don't really like that. So I saw this RS wing on eBay. It was only $100. I'm going to link it in the description so you can get this exact same one I did. So first I'm going to unbox this just so you can see how it's packaged. I did already look at it, but I put it back in the package so you can see how it's packaged if you are also wanting to buy one. And I'm going to test fit it to make sure it fits before filling in the RS indentions on the side. You'll see once it's unboxed, but there is like an RS indented in the side of the spoiler, so I'm going to fill it out with body filler. So when I paint it, it won't have an RS on it, because obviously this is not an RS, it's an ST, and I don't like cars that don't have correct badging. So let's go ahead and get this out of the box. It's a lot heavier than I thought. I figured it'd be really light. You can tell the difference between this and the ST spoiler that's on it. You can tell like the difference in hit the roof. But you can feel like this is hollow, and obviously just by looking at it, it has black shipping primer on it right now. Just kind of looking at it, it's obviously not perfect. It's just about what you would expect for a $100 eBay wing from a car. It just comes in this thin plastic. It does come with instructions and hardware, so that's good. I've seen in a couple other videos, there's a couple companies that make these, but I think I found a video of someone who had this exact same one, and they said that the hardware for the ST wing does not fit this wing, so you have to use the hardware that comes with this. So here is the hardware. It looks like it has like a rubber seal of some sort, or not even rubber, it's foam. I've got that sticks underneath it, and then there's washers and screws. And there's also these weird plastic things. I don't even know what they're for. They might go in there somehow, but if you look here, you can see that there's like, this is different than the actual Ford RS wing. It's actually just an RS, but this looks like it's meant for some sort of emblem to fit in there. But what I plan on doing is leaving this middle section here black, and I think I'm just going to leave it the shipping primer color. I'm not even going to paint over it because this is the finish I want, a matte black, and I'm also going to leave these black, but I'll be painting the sides and this right here. And these things that go right here are a different type of plastic. They're kind of a gloss black almost, but they look almost like a cheaper type of plastic, almost like something that'd be on like a kid's toy almost. I don't really know how to describe it. I don't feel comfortable holding it by this top part because it doesn't feel 100% secure. But there's also this part for the third brake light, and it does not have holes, so I think I'll have to drill holes for the third brake light to go in there. And I'm just now realizing I don't think there's a place for the wires to go either, so I might have to drill holes for the wires to run through. We'll see once we get the ST wing off. But you can see here and here there are those screws. That's because this side piece right here actually comes off, and these middle pieces come off. So I'm going to take off this middle part and these because I'm leaving them black. So I'm just going to take them off and then paint, sand, like prime all of this all on its own without this, because I'm just going to put this back on how it is now. So first I'm going to take off the ST spoiler so I can test fit this before I do any work in case I need to return it. It is free returns, and this came in 3 days, and it said it would come in 4, so it came early. So I'm going to go ahead and take off my ST spoiler, and then I'm going to put this on and make sure it fits. The screws that need to be taken off to get the ST spoiler off are these two, The two black ones, they're T20 Torx bit screws. Those need to come off, and there are two on this side that need to come off. And after those off, we'll remove this plastic panel here, and there's a couple screws there that need to be removed. Now what I'm going to do to make this whole process easier is take the wing apart. I don't really know what all comes apart, so I'm just going to unscrew some of these screws underneath here. And if you look here, this just bends on its own. So when I put that back together, I'm going to put some 3M tape in between there. But it looks like this middle piece comes out perfectly, just what I want to leave black. So this middle piece needs two supports. So I'll first work on taking that out. It looks like it's just held in by two screws, so you can see the difference between an eBay part and Ford. Oh wow. Well, that could be a problem. It is already cracked. It looks like it came cracked, and whenever I loosened those bolts, it released the tension that was keeping it in. Wow, when I push it together, it doesn't even look like there's a crack there, but then when I let go, you can see that there is a crack there. So I might actually message the seller, and maybe they could just send me another one of these middle pieces. I don't really know. It didn't really look like a well put together brand. It looked like just someone selling it on their own. But they did have a lot of them, so it was some sort of company, I think. And this one does not look like most of the other ones out in the market, so I think it's made differently. So I'm going to start filling this in with some spot putty and let it dry overnight. So I'm going to keep layering it up. The Bondo has dried, and I'm going to sand it with some 60 grit sandpaper just to get the bumps off, and next time you know not to do that. But this one, the second one, turned out a lot better. It will need a second coat though. So I'm just going to start sanding it, and then I'll add another coat of Bondo. Now the body filler is sanded, and I'm going to add this glazing and spot putty over it, because you can see there's a few dark spots there and there's a few more here, and those, I guess that's just where I didn't put enough body filler. So this is what this is for, just really small areas. So I'm going to put this, just a little bit of this on, and probably just press it down on the whole thing to even cover some of the scratches or anything else. To fix the crack, I'm going to use this sanding wheel on my Dremel to make a little divot all along the crack, so there's room to fill that. And I'm going to fill it with this super glue, and then put baking soda on top of it, and that makes it a lot stronger. And hopefully that won't be sitting above the line I make with the Dremel. And then I'll put body filler over it and then sand it down smooth, and hopefully after it has primer on it and everything, you won't even be able to tell. So here's what it looks like with the super glue and baking soda in there. So I guess I'll let that dry for a little bit, and then
I'll add just a little bit of Bondo. Well, actually, need a decent amount of Bondo over there. And then I'll sand that smooth and then add primer on top of it. All the holes drilled for the wire and tube for the sprayer on the back, and they all fit fine. So that's what it looks like if you're also doing one of these. This piece is ready for primer, so I'm gonna start layering the primer on the bottom of it, because part of this will show when it's on the car if you lift the trunk up, but I'm just gonna make sure all of it has primer on it. So I'm gonna prime the bottom first, and then I'll flip it over and put primer on the top. The primer on this piece is completely dry, so I'm gonna start laying down the white paint. I'm gonna do a really light coat and let it dry. I really want this coat to turn out nice. So everything is painted and ready to be put back together and put on the car. I put the black piece, already bolted that on, and I'm using this 3M tape. I'm gonna put it in between the two side pieces and between the white part and the black part, just so there's something else there besides the screws holding it on. And I think it'll keep it from like rattling or even coming apart even. I don't know. I also use this Gorilla Tape to almost make like a gasket so the paint isn't directly bolted onto the paint, and there's something in between like both plastics so it doesn't rattle or rub or anything. So I'm going to cut this tape to the right size to put it right there, and then I will install the side pieces and then hopefully mount it to the car if everything goes smoothly. I have both of the side pieces installed, and something I thought was weird, that there's nothing that attaches this to this. So I put a little bit of tape in there and it seems to be sticking on this side, but on this side you can see there's a gap in there. So I don't really know what I'm going to do about that. I might just leave it and hopefully it doesn't rattle whenever I close the trunk. And also I left this stuff with the shipping primer on it, and it absorbs every little bit of dust, as you can see just from me touching it. So I'll probably buy some matte black paint and paint over this later on, but I'm gonna go ahead and put it on the car and just have to keep it clean. But everything seems to have gone together just as it did when I got it, and this time it doesn't have a crack. The crack was right in there, it went along here and then it went all the way down, so that's all filled. You can't even tell it's there. So I'm going to start putting this on the car. Might be a little hard with just one person, but I just have to feed the wires through the holes I made, and then I think I can just put in 2 bolts to hold it, and then that should be good. And I also have to do a little bit of touch-up paint right there because I set it down on the ground when working on the 2 side pieces, so I have to put a little bit of paint over that, but I'll just put it on a paintbrush and put it on there. So let's go ahead and put this on the car. First, I actually have to install this foam that will go up against the window of the car, and it got a little mangled and torn in shipping, it looks like, but it should still do the job. This is the part that would be up against the window, so this is just there so you don't have plastic banging up against the window every time you close the car. So I'm just gonna lay this down. If you also plan on buying one of these, definitely get it professionally painted, because I painted it myself with a rattle can. And if you can see there, that this right here is like a little bit of overspray, so that can be easily removed with just a little bit of polishing, but you can kind of see how it's not completely smooth in other places. So definitely get it professionally painted. I still think I might take these side pieces off, sand them down, and go get them professionally painted a little bit later down on the line. And I'll also get this painted matte black while I'm at it. But for now, it looks good. You can't really tell unless you get really close, but the paint is the right color, so that's at least good. So I'm gonna do a little edit right here of the whole entire car, just so you can kind of see how the whole car looks with this. I think it really changes the whole look of the car, especially the back. I really like the black piece. I don't think it would look as good if this was white, but I think it looks really good black, and it makes it look really aggressive. So thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.